people in New Hampshire, they say, no, maybe someplace else. And so we're also losing some of our best and brightest after we reinvest our education.
Exactly. So it's a brain drain.
Yeah.
And so that's also an issue. So how do we keep those individuals, those young, at the peak of their earning years, how do we keep them into the state? And the only way you can do that is with good paying jobs, tech jobs, and making, again, the environment here friendly for business.
Recently, the Second Amendment seems to be attacked more and more and more and more.
Yeah.
And you pro the Second Amendment?
Yes, I am.
You pro-Constitution?
Yes, I am.
Very good. So, obviously, we're getting these attacks. Why such an attack all the time? What's going on?
I wish I could read other people's minds, but unfortunately, I'm not a mind reader. I don't possess that ability. But I think a good litmus test for a government is whether they believe that your rights are granted to you by them, or they belong to you.
They're there to protect you.
Yes, and so self-defense is a basic human right. And so I believe that it would be my role as senator to ensure that you have the ability, without the infringement of government, to have that basic right retained.
A lot of buzz about Common Core.
Oh, against Common Core. Again, it's local control. That's what makes New Hampshire great. That's what makes the country great. It's having somebody hundreds, thousands of miles away making decisions for something that's happening in your neighborhood just feels wrong and intrusive. So it's the allowing the communities to make a decision on what curriculum and what they really want for their community.
So if somebody wants to get in touch with you and they want to support your campaign, this September 9th, are you running unopposed?
I am running. I do not have a primary, but I do. I am obviously in the general election.
Right. And how do they reach you?
Sure. They can reach me. They can call me. My cell phone is 603-714-5185, or they can visit my website. That's Landies, LANDIES, the number 4, NH.com.
I appreciate you coming on.
Thanks so much.
Thank you, and good luck with the race.
Thank you. You
All
too.
Right. Thank you. I know. Well, we'll be right back with our next guest. Thanks. Back here at the Capitol with another candidate that is running for Senate in District 13, Doris Hohenson.
Nashua District's award is 3,600.
And who's the current occupant of that?
She's been there for 4 years and 10 years in the state legislature. She's for a decade and a half as a professional legislator.
How's your race doing?
It's doing great.
I see your signs everywhere. I see them at the pizza shops. I see them on the lawns. You're obviously doing something.
There's a lot of great people that want to change.
Right.
Because Betty doesn't, she voted for 3 times for politics when she first got in. And she says she's not for one. She voted for the donor tax, for the education tax. She's voted for just about every tax that there is. That campground tax, she's never voted for. The LLC tax,
The gas tax?
oh yeah.
Medicaid expansion?
Absolutely. Tobacco tax, 3 times. She's up there.
When is it enough?
I don't know. I think it's when you have an unlimited budget, you don't worry about unlimited spending. Maybe that's what she comes from. In my house, we have family with 6 kids, so we had to you spend when you need to spend, and you spend more than you have. So it's a different mindset.
So why are you running? What made you decide to run?
The final straw was that she had no opponent and somebody had to step up. But my big thing, other than limited government, representing the people locally, not in DC, not in Congress, but it was education. I want the local control universities and we're losing.
Now you're probably one of the most foremost, not being experts in my opinion, on Common Core. And that seems to be quite the buzz around town, around the state. People don't like it.
People nationwide don't like it. It's radioactive. You'll see a lot of governors who've been proponents. They're flipping because they want to run for president. You've got Governor Jingles of Louisiana. He flipped. You have Maine. He flipped. I mean, it's not something that you want to support if you want to get parents and families in danger.
And what is the philosophy behind it? It's federally mandated?
It's convoluted. Here you have a private group that formed these standards then they got the rubber stamp approval of the National Governors Associations and a few other big trade organizations.
Right.
And then the federal government said, if you adopt these standards, we'll give you a lot of federal dollars. So they didn't even see them. They just adopted them for the federal dollars. Now that we've got them, we've got teachers unions are taking a step back. They want Arnie Duncan's resignation because along with these standards, these are just to implement data mining on the students, no privacy protection, and to sort our teachers to see whether they're effective or ineffective on some strange standard. We'll never know because we're not allowed to see the test.
So it's out of local control at this
Oh
point.
yeah, it's totally.
How did we get to this point? Did the Senate pass it? Did the House pass it?
No. The legislature didn't pass it because that was taken. We had a bill to say that the legislature should approve or have a voice of that side.
How did Betty last year?
She wasn't in office at the time,
Oh,
so she had to pass it. But she didn't do anything when she got back in to say, hey, I'm going to protect the teachers. Teachers unions are screaming because you're throwing teachers under the bus.
speaking of unions, what do you think about right to work?
I think everybody should have the choice of whether or not to take a job or whether or not to join. And I know with the teachers union, some towns are better than others. Like in Manchester, you can be a teacher without joining, without being negotiated. In Nashua, you have the choice of not to join, but you can be negotiated. So every area is different, and I respect every area being different. But as long as everybody has flexibility, because not everybody wants somebody else's speak.
Right.
And I know teachers like that taught in Londonderry, they didn't have to, or they thought that they could stay out, but they were stigmatized. So you've got teachers that don't want to speak out on this kind of work because they're afraid not of the unions, but of the English teachers. Because in other states, they run this and we find you another job if you don't toe the line. Because there's so much money riding on this.
What's your plan for making New Hampshire a better environment for jobs?
I need jobs in New Hampshire. When we came here in '79, there was a tech bubble. We came on the end of the tech bubble. My children are graduating from college and finding jobs in California. I want to see my grandchildren in New Hampshire, so I am motivated to make New Hampshire a better place for jobs. We have the third highest business tax in the country. It's ridiculous. We could do it. We got to lower it. So when Massachusetts is better than New Hampshire, this is crazy. So if we get a better environment, then maybe I'll get some children back. Maybe everybody else will get their children to stay. We're an aging state. We need to get the younger back.
Exactly. It seems to me that everybody's talking about the same thing, how that we're investing all this money in UNH and all these other organizations to educate our children at a reduced cost. And then they would just sleep.
They can't even get internships here. I take internships. My daughter was down in Cambridge this summer and Boston last summer because there are none. She's applied, but there are none. So we need the abundance of jobs here so that our young people stay and grow the state. And the train issue is another big one. Betty Lasky wants a train. Everybody loves trains. I love trains. Is it cost effective? And the other thing is, are we just building the train so we can send our educated workers to Massachusetts so they can collect taxes and build their economy? Why don't we build our job first and then put in the train and let them train up to us?
It sounds like also that the MBTA unions are going to be the ones who are actually running the program if that train does come in.
Well, that's an
And it
interesting.
might also affect, we have a bus company that drives people to Mass. It's actually running in the red right now. If we bring in a train, that would be too much competition for them. Then they'll have two organizations that are running in the red. So
All these things need to be thought out.
Right.
You can't just have a wish and a prayer. You need to think long term and get jobs here. It's good.
how do people reach you?
I've got a website, dorishohensey.com. All one word, dorishohensey.com. I'm on Facebook, and you can call me at my house, 888-881-882.
That's fine. You're on camera. Thank you.
Thank you.
We wish you the best. And thanks for watching this segment. We have another guest coming on, Representative George Lambert, who's also running for State Senate. We'll be right back. Representative George Lambert, who's also running for Senate seat. What district?
District 18.
18. Okay. Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
We just wanted to encapsulate why are you running?
Because the Senate needs to learn two words. They are roll and call. We hear that in the upper house. What we don't see is that they are going out and paying attention to the needs of the people in New Hampshire. under Bill O'Brien, we passed a lot of good legislation that made it over to the Senate and just got tabled. We're not actually getting good bills reviewed. The Senate tends to be very collegiate, as displayed when it came to Medicaid expansion last year. Republicans all over the state were saying, no, we don't want it. And what we had is our Senate Majority Leader, we had our Senate President in a Republican majority go out and approve something that the Republican Party is clearly against. We need discipline, we need clarity, and we need Republican values in the Senate by ourselves.
Why are they against Medicaid expansion?
Well, they should have been against Medicaid expansion, but they weren't. And they should have been because it's actually not a good solution for New Hampshire. What we need to do is increase access, reduce costs, and bring up more transparency. We need to make it so that the people who are sitting there without a Medicaid solution, okay, can find out what their healthcare costs are. We need to bring in other options. But their plan was going to take people who are already working and have health insurance and get them moved off into this quasi-Medicaid solution. We were going to actually give people worse insurance coverage. We were going to state subsidize it and federally subsidize it for a couple of years, and then we're going to leave the New Hampshire taxpayers on the hook.
Which could possibly usher in
An income tax.
and you're opposed to
An income tax?
Yes.
Every single day.
what about right to work? What are your feelings about right to work?
I'm an advocate for right to work, have always been an advocate for right to work. And in my first year in the House, I put in a bill to not only deal with right to work in the private sector, but I put in a bill to remove or bring right to work to the public sector as well.
You served on the Redress Committee.
Yes, I did. I spent 2 years with Paul Goodson, who supports my run for the Senate and is a big fan of the work that we're doing.
What's the main issues that you really think that the state really needs to do? Is it lower taxes?
It's actually business innovation,
Right.
making the state government accountable to the citizens, making it so there's not an appearance of corruption or manipulation by state departments. There may be, there may not be, but when you look at things like FRM and situations like that, what we see is that we're not getting all of our questions answered, and they spend more energy cleaning it up than telling us the truth. Let's get the truth out of government, or into the government process. Let's make it so the state departments remember who they work for, and it's a customer service business, and the customer is the taxpayer and the voter.
And roll call was a feature you just mentioned.
Absolutely.
And what does that do basically?
It means that when we take a vote or talk about a topic in the Senate, we have accountability. So the people of New Hampshire who have elected these senators get to know where they stand on issues rather than having them sit on the table based on a voice vote. We actually can bring in, let people know what the Senate votes on. If you look at the history, if a senator goes up and says, I'm really uncomfortable with this particular bill, both Democrats and Republicans seem to do a lot of horse trading for things that they don't want to be on the record about. We don't get good gun roll calls out of them. We don't get good taxation roll calls out of them. I mean, it's all kinds of things.